What makes Teen Titans special is this is the first one that's solely not related to Justice League or Batman. So I hope we get to do more.
Judas Contract was on the slate for the third one, and back in 06. Got pulled. Was it always in the back of your mind when you eventually get to it, or did you do like Justice League versus Teen Titans to set up those characters knowing you would get to Judas Contract? How did that go?
Yeah, well, the thing is, I wasn't doing the DTVs when the Teen Titans first was on the slate. And what I heard was it got pulled because they focus tested the name. Now, this would have been 2006 or something. So the Teen Titans TV show, though popular, hadn't become the legend and the classic it is now. So home video wasn't confident that they could sell it at that time. When I took over, my goal was to use their tentpole titles that they knew they could sell things. Batman, Justice League. They will do those till the end of time because those will sell things. So I said if I have to do those two, each one I want to include characters that haven't been exposed and hopefully jumpstart solo movies off of that. And so Justice League versus Teen Titans was the first version of that. Justice League Dark was the second. We have other plans to spin out other characters and hopefully do solo movies in conjunction with what the live action movies are doing as well. So yeah, we used the fact that we have a continuity now, so that we are building on top of a continuity. It's not a standalone movie. It's tied to all these other movies that have done pretty well. So we use the leverage of past successes in order to try something different.
Going to Justice League Teen Titans, so knowing you were going to Judas Contract, was setting up the Teen Titans?
Well, we can only do whatever the sales dictate. So that did well in the sales, and that gave us the go-ahead to do this one. It was on the list, that's always, Judas Contract's always been on the short list of adaptations, but no one knew how to do it before because they always felt they needed Justice League or Batman to somehow play into that. But so once we did Justice League Teen Titans and it did well, they were confident enough that this could stand on its own.
So how will this particular film affect the Teen Titans in the future without giving too much away?
Well, I mean, if you know the story of Judas Contract, it's like the most famous Teen Titans story, and the repercussions of the fallout from what happens with the characters will resonate in future movies, should we be able to get to them. I mean, a lot of that will be dictated by the sales of what this one does. We have a lot of surprises in it, you'll see tonight, and hopefully those surprises will lead to other movies and other storylines. There's other stories that could be adapted, like I'm interested in going to Starfire's world, taking them off planet and maybe introducing other characters. Like, that's the goal, is now that Teen Titans is up and running, we can take them in outer space, and that'll cause us to be able to introduce even more characters into their franchise. So everything is, the idea is to piggyback on each success.
Does this pretty much stay true to Judas Contract, the comic?
It's not 2 years worth of continuity, but I think it just stays true to the core of what that story was. It may not have all the different twists and turns that 2 years of continuing comics do, but I think all the tentpole big ideas of that story are there.
It's easier doing this with the established continuity as opposed to, I know you weren't there, but if they had done it 2 years ago, trying to do it from scratch, do you think is it easier doing it from the established continuity because this kind of set up?
I mean, I don't know what their challenges were then. I read that script, or at least a version of that script, and it seemed okay to me. We did something very different because we did have continuity to build on, so we didn't have to reintroduce all the characters. So just having that load already handled makes it a little easier. You don't have to set up all the characters. You don't have to, spend all that story time setting them up, so you can get right to the meat of the story, because you have a previous movie where you did all that. So I don't know. They didn't get that far with the other version. There were compromises, I know, that had to be made for that movie as well. Things were left out. Things were so. I think for our continuity, and also the fact that I believe DC's doing another version of Judas Contract that doesn't directly link to the old version, but it's all material that gets reconfigured and rethought and reinterpreted and reimagined. So I think the core of what that story was is still there.
Which Teen Titan character do you feel closest to you?
Well, in this, it was important to have some sort of connection to Tara in order to be able to tell her part of the story. She's the newest character, and you know, the whole conceit of Judas Contract is we don't know that, you know, well, I don't want to spoil anything, but you're not supposed to know her story really, and so we tried to go at it in a way where we could give her enough of a character, being that this will be her first time being in the movies or anything in this version. So, I mean, I like her for this movie. I mean, I wanted to feel for her so that when everything happened, it would have a bigger impact. But in general, I like them all. I like the Teen Titans as a group, like, because the Teen Titans, unlike Justice League, is about family. I mean, they're superheroes, yeah, but it's not all about them. It's really about them learning how to be functioning adults, being there for each other. It's definitely more relationship oriented than Justice League tends to be.
We started to share kind of continuity. Kind of based on New 52, that went away. How much are you kind of glad to not to get bound by that?
You know, we were never really bound by that. I always tell people this, but you know, apart from Justice League War and Throne of Atlantis, there really hasn't been anything we've adapted. All the Batman stuff we did predated New 52. I mean, Damian was already in the continuity before New 52. So we haven't really adapted those, other than those two stories. That was it as the extent of our New 52 obligation. And now we're like, I don't know, our 10th movie almost? I don't know, I've lost count. So we were never really bound by the New 52. We used the same momentum of publicity that New 52 had when it came out. And we piggybacked on that to kind of help us get a leg up. And then we pretty much distanced ourselves from it before they were gone. So.
Is there going to be any effort to do any reboots stuff?
I mean, we pick what we like to do. I mean, Judas Contract is from 1984. So, we basically set up a world much like, you know, the old DC animated universe where we can adapt stories into that continuity. So whatever could fit into our existing continuity with a little bit of tweaking, we're able to do it. We can go as far back as the 30s if we want, but so there'll still be standalone movies. Like Killing Joke is a standalone movie. It is a rightful classic in and of itself. You don't need to contextualize it by putting it in a continuity. I believe Judas was helped by the fact that there is a continuity because the original story was part of a continuity. You know what I'm saying? Like, Killing Joke was a standalone, therefore the movie should be a standalone. Judas was part of a sprawling, long continuity, and so it works in our thing. So,
was Wolfman any part of this at all?
No. I mean, he was notified that we were doing it, and he and Perez gave their blessing, and they cash the checks and they're happy.
Were they interviewed for any extras?
I have no idea for that. I didn't know. I don't remember me doing it, so I may have, but I don't remember.
Does Warner ever give you like a mandate to use a character that maybe they're trying to test for future movies?
Not really. We usually bring to them characters we think they'll go for. I mean, I'm dealing specifically with the home video division, and they're their own thing. If a feature film is coming out, it gives us more leverage to say, hey, maybe we can do something with that character. But they're not going to gamble on something that's not already have some sort of awareness in another medium. Like,
Suicide Squad.
yeah.
Now they're talking about Deathstroke or Batman movie or Deathstroke. Seems like a good synergy.
Well, I mean, their stuff doesn't lead us, but I can't say whether our stuff doesn't lead them. I don't know. But, I think the trickle down is the comics do it, then animation siphons off from the comics, and then live action siphons off from us, TV, and then the movies siphon off from everyone. I don't know.
Would there ever eventually would you guys be at a point where you could explore stories that maybe haven't already been done?
I would love that. I would love that. I mean, it's easier to do that when you have a television series, because you just, with these movies, there's a lot of people who have to sign off on the idea. And, if it's a general idea, like, we proved Teen Titans could sell by teaming them with Justice League. Therefore, okay, can we do a Teen Titans movie now? And they're like, oh, sure. So, they have to have a reason to gamble, because they're, these, DVDs aren't, they're not, it's not the mid 2000s anymore. It's the market keeps changing, and so they have to be very careful about how they use their money, or the whole thing will blow up. And I don't want it to go away. So there will be conservative choices that diehard fans will go, oh no, not that again. But hopefully in our slate, if there's, for everyone that's like, oh God, not that again, there's something else that's like, oh, that's different. So that's the juggling act. But an R-rated Justice League movie prior to Justice League Dark was inconceivable. So, and it's doing well. So that has made it a little bit easier to tell other stories. So. It definitely greased the wheels. I mean, yeah, they wouldn't have probably even. I'll put it this way: Justice League Dark couldn't have come before Killing Joke. Like there would have been no landscape for them to approve that kind of risk.
This Wonder Woman animated re-releasing of Blu-ray as a 75th edition. Do you know if they've changed it?
I didn't work on it. I don't really know the details. I think commemorative just implies that it's pretty much the same. I'm not sure. I can't speak to that. I do know the director was involved with whatever they did do. They definitely talked with Lauren Montgomery, so I guess I'm done. Okay? Thank you, guys.
Look forward to seeing it.
Thank you.